Shedeur Sanders is in most charts, and Jackson Dart's catching up, and in some cases might even be higher, but Shedeur Sanders is generally considered number 2. Had the pro day today, and you put out on your X account that Brian Baldinger of NFL Network as well put that Shedeur had a pretty good pro day, especially with those deep balls, right?
Yeah, I was watching it and I wrote about it. And as we speak, my editors are working through that story right now. So that'll go up shortly if it's not already up by the time you guys hear this. But yeah, I mean, I thought Shedeur had answered some questions. I mean, again, how much can a pro day really change the narrative, especially one that happens April 4th? I don't know. But he certainly didn't hurt himself, I don't think. Early on, as he was kind of warming up, short throws, little angle routes, flares out into the flat, things like that, quick slants, what have you. There's that little wobble to his passes where it's not quite as crisp and as clean as you see when Cam Ward throws the ball. I mean, he gets good spin on the ball, good RPM. The pass looks a little cleaner with him, but with Hunter, he was starting to warm up and it was just coming out a little clunky, and you could see some of that on tape, throwing off schedule, off balance, things like that. Not the prettiest passes, but around the 20th throw, and he threw about 68 or 9 passes on Friday. He really started to dial it up vertically between the numbers, those deep shots that some people have questions about. Is he going to be an effective deep ball thrower? Does Sanders have the arm to play in a place like New York or Cleveland, outdoors, in the wind, etc.? And the balls look crisper, tighter, spirals cleaner. The footwork was nice. It felt to me like Sanders had heard the questions that had been posed by either media or by scouts, and said, I'm gonna put on a show, and I'm gonna make sure they see that I can throw these passes. And so, again, especially the ones that were inside the numbers, I felt like those were some of his best balls of the day. Most on target. Not all of them were caught. There were a few drops, but still they were catchable balls, and just looked a lot prettier than some of the ones that were either kind of the short little layup throws or the outside the number throws. So kind of interesting. Is that something that he still needs to probably clean up in his game a little bit? Yeah, you'd love to have a perfect, on target spiral with every single throw, especially the ones that are pretty close to the line of scrimmage. But I think answering some of the questions about the deep placement and kind of the crispness of the throws was, kind of a nice way to go out in his pro day.
Let me ask you this. If his last name was Smith or Jones, not Sanders,
right,
is he even being spoken about as the second overall pick?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that some of the appeal is that he's got Hall of Fame blood pumping through his veins, right? I mean,
the hype factory, right? The Johnny Manziel thing, the hype, people like it.
I mean, there's probably a factor that works for him, and then in some cases may work against him. But let's work through it. I mean, I think you raise a fair question. I've had scouts say similar things. If this guy was at Boise State and his last name was Johnson, would we be going crazy about him?
Yeah,
probably not, because the skill set, even though he's got Deion DNA, you're not looking at an elite athlete. You're not looking at somebody who's got this rocket arm or can do Anthony Richardson type things at a pro day, right? So this is a different kind of athlete. I mean, he's good. And I've been saying all along, I think the offense he makes most sense with is a Kevin Stefanski rhythm passing game, right? On target, on schedule, clean feet in the pocket, get the ball out where it's supposed to be. Yes, you'll have to create at some point, but we're going to keep you on schedule here. I mean, that's the funny part, is that he wasn't necessarily blessed with Deion's foot speed or, some godly arm. He's really made it with, I think, his brains, his guts, obviously some toughness. There's no doubt. I mean, he took a lot of sacks, some of which were his own doing, but yeah, I mean, I think it wouldn't be shocking to hear that some teams are a little skittish of everything that comes with Shedeur, the whole Sanders clan, right? The attention that comes with it.
Podcast.
Yeah, there could be some conservative franchises out there who say he's not enough of a transcendent player for me to have to deal with that. And it's got to be the perfect setup and that sort of thing. If you're expecting him to be a year one savior, that's also tough too, even though, he's played a couple years of high level ball. I mean, who knows whether he's able to step in with less than ideal physical skills as a rookie and
Sure.
play at a cerebrally high level. I don't know. I mean, that's going to be a great test for him if he gets the shot. So, to answer your question, I don't know. I think it does work a little bit both ways, but I think it's fair to wonder. He was my 35th overall player in my top 100 rankings, my initial rankings. Now, he may move up a little or down a little, but basically I'm giving him a second round grade, and yet he could go in the first round because of the need at quarterback and perhaps because of that little Sanders factor as well.
Right. We know people, they're thirsty for quarterbacks. They reach all the time, and you see risers. He also has the potential to be the biggest faller in that first round. Expect to go 2. That's the other part as well. And we'll get to your the rest of your mock in a moment. But I'm just wondering, and to take you back, Eric, through the Brown sort of lineage, going back to Baker Mayfield. I got all the Baker stuff in the background here. I miss him. I love Baker. But Jimmy Haslam and the Browns thought that Baker Mayfield was not good enough to take them to the top level to compete with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. That's probably true, but he did a very good job. They went to Deshaun Watson, hoping for good Deshaun. The owner just admitted, big swing and a miss. Total failure, worst deal trade in sports history. My question is doesn't Shedeur Sanders track closer to a Baker? And like you said, not a generational talent, not elite. Like, I just wonder if you're the Browns thinking, you went from that. Are you just going to always be searching for that next good thing, or are you settling back down? Like, I'd rather take a swing on a Jackson Dart. Hey, everybody, I'm Andy McNamara, and the clip you just watched is from the most recent episode of the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. So make sure you are following us on social media, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, and of course, subscribe. It's free. Click the notification bell on so you don't miss when we go live or any of the new episodes to get the latest on the Cleveland Browns NFL draft, all things National Football League. Subscribe, follow, hit us up in the comments, and as always, folks, go Browns!